Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, July 13th, 2021. It is 2:02 p.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board. To my left is Commissioner and Vice Chair Gary Edwards. Commissioner Mejia is participating through our Zoom platform. Standing in for the County Manager today is Community Planning and Economic Development Director Joshua Cummings, and our Clerk of the Board, Amy Davis, is with us as well. Calling this meeting to order. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Vice Chair Edwards.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We would also like to start today with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the indigenous Salish peoples who have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. I would contemplate a motion regarding the proposed agenda for today's meeting.
I would move to approve the Tuesday, July 13th, 2021 agenda.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia?
Commissioner Mejia, you're on mute.
Little technical difficulties here, not uncommon.
Go ahead and proceed with the roll call, Amy.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye. So I'm going to find that that motion carries 2-0 with Commissioner Mejia not having cast a vote, and we'll see if we can get her sorted out before the action items. Is there a motion regarding the board meeting minutes from June 29th?
Yes, sir. I would move to approve the board meeting minutes from June 29th, 2021.
I will second that. It's been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
So the commissioners.
Oh, we're muted. There you go.
All right, let's pause then.
I think our mics are on, aren't they?
My mic's on and I hear it.
It's just Josh's mic.
But Commissioner Mejia should be able to hear me.
Commissioner Mejia.
I can hear you now. I can hear you now. I wasn't able to hear you before.
Okay, very good. Commissioner, we passed the agenda and we're now calling for a vote on the minutes from June 29th.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye, motion carries. Board meeting minutes approved from June 29th. Next is a presentation from Pretrial Services. It's a proclamation for pretrial, probation, and parole supervision week. Our Director of Pretrial Services, Marianne Clear, is with us. I have a nine-person limit for me to be able to read or see on the screen, and we have much more than that. So I'm going to assume Marianne is up there.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yes, I am here.
Excellent. Marianne, could you, are you prepared to introduce this proclamation?
I am. And I also have a limit for how many people I can see on my screen. So I apologize that I cannot see everyone here as well. But I believe that we are also joined by staff from Juvenile Court for probation. I believe I can see Ted Bryan and his team as well. I believe my team are here. I can see members from my staff. And I believe that District Court probation staff are here as well. I wanted to thank the Board of County Commissioners for recognizing the hard work that our staff do every day. I know that just within pretrial services, we've been able to expand our diversion program and expand to provide services to district court. We've been able to accomplish universal screening and My staff work very hard every day. They're tireless, they show up, and they've been able to collaborate with all of our criminal justice partners. And I don't believe that that's any different than with Ted's staff or with Frankie Peters and Raul Salazar's staff over in District Court. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the board for recognizing the hard work that they do every day.
The other leaders that were identified by Mary Ann, if you'd like to say anything, please take this opportunity.
I'd just like to thank the board also for the recognition for the probation staff.
Could you introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry, I'm Ted Bryan with Juvenile Court.
Perfect, thanks, Ted.
Sorry, thank you, Commissioner. You know, our staff work tirelessly with kids on probation. Kids come onto probation for many different reasons, usually because they need a lot of help. And our staff at the juvenile court as a whole, but particularly the probation staff that are out in the community with kids and schools and counselors and other resources, they absolutely work tirelessly to help kids stay out of trouble in the future and have successful lives. So I appreciate the work they do, and again, appreciate the county commissioners recognizing this all probation staff with this proclamation.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Open floor. Okay. Commissioner, proclamation, anything you want to say?
Possibly before I read this proclamation, I might note from a budgetary perspective, these folks save the county a lot of money by figuring out who should be held in custody and who should not be held in custody, and who we can get back as into a good citizen role, if you will, and those that need more accountability. So I think they do a great job in that regard.
Excellent. There's nothing further. I'm ready for a proclamation.
Okay. This is a proclamation for pretrial probation and parole service supervision week. Whereas July 18th through July 24th, 2021 is National Pretrial Probation and Parole Supervision Week to commemorate the important work done by community corrections professionals around the world that keep our communities safe. And whereas pretrial probation and parole supervision professionals are in a unique position to better people's lives as they play an essential role in the justice system. And whereas community corrections professionals uphold the orders of the court with dignity while recognizing the right of the public to be safeguarded from criminal activity. And whereas these professionals are responsible for supervising those involved in adult and juvenile justice systems, and whereas community corrections professionals promote prevention and intervention by providing services and referrals for offenders and advocate for restorative justice, and whereas community corrections professionals provide support and protection for victims, and whereas Thurston County Community Corrections professionals are a true force for positive change in our communities. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners hereby proclaims July 18th through July 24th, 2021 as Pretrial Probation and Parole Supervision Week in Thurston County, and urge citizens to join in recognizing the positive impacts of these professionals and their services. The Board of County Commissioners adopted the 13th day of July, 2021.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. We don't have anybody in here, but we will make sure that this gets to the right person, and we really appreciate all of you for being here and appreciate the work you do. I should have afforded Commissioner Mejia a chance to make a comment if she so desired.
I mean, what can I say? What has already been said? You know, thank you so much for pretrial, for everything that you do. Of course, I have a sweet spot for this department for more than one reason. So thank you for your continuation, and as well as our probation. You definitely make a difference in our criminal justice system and the way that we're going towards the future.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I just follow up on your comments and Commissioner Edwards' comments by pointing out that, good work in this area does save the county money. That's great, and we want to do that. It also helps people's lives because more and more research out there that says some people benefit from incarceration and it's needed, but a lot of other folks don't, especially younger people. And our system does a really good job of using these tools rather than our juvenile detention. And I think that's making a big impact on those individuals and their families and the community at large, in addition to saving dollars. So it's all good when this system's working well. So we appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Marianne. Okay, very good. Let's go to item 1, opportunity for the public to address the board. Board of County Commissioners welcomes comments from the public, but there are guidelines governing such comments to ensure they are appropriate and do not take advantage of the fact that most meetings are televised. When you are called, please come to the podium, introduce yourself, including your address or area of the county in which you reside. Address the board, not audience or staff. Silence your cell phones. You'll have 4 minutes and may not be able to donate that speaking time, any part of that, to another person. The board does not respond specifically to comments, but on an as-needed basis, the county manager will follow up with specific items. The board reserves the right to restrict a person's opportunity to address the meeting for good cause. No comments that are lewd or offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory. No outbursts, commercial comments such as promotion of a for-profit business or remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually become before this board on appeal. Finally, all physical written materials provided to the county may be considered public records, subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of the RCW. So with that guidelines laid out, we've got Hanna first and John Pettit on deck.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Hanna. I'm an East Olympia farmer and farm owner. Commissioner Mentzer asked me last week to advise of what agriculture-related cuts your board have made. I will discuss one cut with you as I am very busy and you have staff that can research and provide you that information. It's interesting that Commissioner Mentzer asked that question of me Tuesday morning, and later in the morning discussed his perceived thought that the Agriculture Advisory Committee needed more youth involvement when discussing one of the applicants for a farmer member opening. I agree with you that we need more involvement of youth, and as I described in my letter yesterday to you, the Ag Advisory Committee has actively tried to recruit to fill this void after losing a non-farmer member that was an agriculture advisor in one of the local high schools. On one hand, you say you want more youth involved in agriculture. That's great. But the one agriculture program I will bring up that you've cut is 4-H. So let me see if I understand. You want youth involved in agriculture, but you cut 4-H funding. One of the candidates for the farmer member opening has been a great supporter of 4-H in our county for decades. I guess you'd think that what I would consider one of the best, if not the best applicant you or any board in the last 30 years has seen isn't qualified enough to be on the advisory committee at this time. Most likely, you won't get the chance in the future to have such a beyond well-qualified candidate. As in my last letter to you all, I said, your actions have consequences. If you make the decision to appoint someone that is a self-described, where'd I go? If you make the decision to appoint someone that is a self-described beginning farmer at best, the agriculture community will hear it and hear the message it sends. The same message that you send to this community when you spent well over 30 minutes discussing distribution of COVID funds to agriculture and held up $1 million of staff recommended funding, but did not spend any public time discussing where to provide funds for many other specific groups business and or businesses. The same message you sent to the agriculture community and your advisory board members when you referred to upcoming reappointments as openings. that you could appoint Mr. Shorno to. The same message you send when you throw around a term like regenerative agriculture when you try to justify appointing a far lesser candidate. You don't know agriculture, you don't seem to care enough to educate yourself about agriculture, and you don't care about those doing the job. That's okay, though. You have an advisory board made up of professionals and experts in many areas of agriculture to advise you. But you don't care what your advisory committee advises you on or how. One of your words last week. And if you don't, why have it? It is funny to me that last Tuesday you praised the long commitment and work of another advisory committee member when reappointing them. But you show no support for your existing ag advisory members when you ask staff how many openings are coming up this year when referencing members that are up for reappointment, and you can replace them with a new applicant. The Ag Advisory Committee has asked repeatedly that you not make the committee a political toy, but you seem to be doing this exactly that once again. I would like to thank staff, Amy Davis and the County Manager Chavez, for arranging the upcoming meeting with you and the Ag Advisory Committee. This will be a good opportunity for us to present some things to you and a good opportunity for you to educate yourself a little by asking us some questions. I truly look forward to speaking with you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live in East Olympia, and life is good. I have been involved with several things. I try to write you guys lots of different letters and notes and everything throughout the time. And today I hope that you managed to receive a little document I made up, because I think this might help in the process of making decisions for the Commission. The document's titled Decision Making 101 for County Commissioners. And it's broke down into 4 basic segments, which is one is making sure you actually have personal knowledge about an issue before you make a decision. And essentially what that means is you shouldn't be just trusting staff to give you direction, and because you have a lack of personal knowledge, you move forward when in fact you could take an opportunity to say, let's put off that decision for a week or 2 if we need to, so we actually know what the facts are from the inside. People need the best decision they can, you represent them. The next part is whether the particular action is legal or not. I know that sometimes you get lots of legal opinions. You know, it's interesting, courts are full of appeals and processes of people arguing over what something legal means. So you are in a position that you get lots of opinions, and I won't pretend to think that any attorney is going to know everything about every topic, okay? And I won't taint Mr. Menzer being an attorney in his past actions, and still an attorney, I'm sure, but the bottom line is we all have specialties. I'm a research buff myself, and I really get into my topics, so I try to encourage good decisions. We don't want to do anything illegal. We don't want to make decisions based upon emotions or feelings. Emotions or feelings cause us to act outside of the bounds of where we're at. And as a Board of County Commissioners, many people don't know you have a very limited ability to function, and you have to follow state law, and virtually everything you do has state law about it, behind it. So you have to make those decisions, which of course, I just came with a couple of appeals of your decisions and dropped that off today regarding the budget amendment and capital improvement program amendment because I don't believe you followed law, and I guess that'll be up to a judge to decide that. I'm hoping that it doesn't damage any of the commissioners personally in the process. Then another is to make one decision at a time. If you make a decision which causes you to have to make another decision, and then have to make another decision, it doesn't give you the tendency to be able to change course as necessary. And unfortunately, we live in a world of changing courses every single day. So I'm going to encourage you to slow down. It's better to take time and make a good decision than to make a hurried decision and make an error. So I encourage anyone to reach out and talk. I did have a little concern about what I thought might have crossed the line for being a political piece of literature. So I would encourage you to talk to anyone related in the staff about that. We don't want to cross boundaries for proper publication of documents that might be seen in the wrong light. And in closing, I'm just going to add that it's a sad thing that, again, we go without a county fair. I mean, agriculture, that was the basic heart of it. It became a lot more things with time, but we're going to all miss that, and we keep missing it, but hopefully that can change course and we can get people back to being the little type of country county that we really have always been. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, that was the extent of the sign up. Ms. Janice, no? We may, acting county manager, need to check with the Zoom folks.
Yes, we do.
A couple names that might be.
We do have a list here for folks that would like to provide comment. Let's start with Tony Wilson. Tony, would you like to come off mute and provide comment?
Yes, thank you. I watched the agenda set meeting last week. I don't get it because of other commitments. I don't get a chance to sit and visit in these meetings, 2 o'clock. I've got something else that's a pretty consistent thing for me. Anyway, I'm actually here to speak in support of the change that has been recommended by this group of commissioners for the representation on the Agricultural Advisory Committee. I have been through and read some minutes of that committee, and then I've talked to people who have been in the meetings and found that frequently what winds up in the minutes isn't everything that was in the meeting. And I think that having perhaps some turnover would be a good thing. All people get entrenched in positions. And I think that some change is warranted in the Ag Advisory Committee at this time. I also support, and I'm not going to mangle up her name, but I support Mercy's appointment, as I believe you are heading in that direction, and you were considering that last week. We are a county in transition. We are a world in transition. And without getting into the argument about what causes what, it is apparent that things are changing in Thurston County. The way water is used, the way its availability of water, all these climate issues are changing our world, and they're going to change farming. The unique thing that Mercy brings to the table is she isn't just a new farmer. She's just a new farmer here. But she farms on a small scale here, but grew up farming in a country that didn't have a lot of water to play with, and they had to manage it differently in order to be successful farmers and eat and sell their goods. And I think bringing that perspective to that Ag Committee, just a member, is useful. It's a point of diversity that's unique. It's not about race, it's not about color, it's not about gender, it's not about any of those things. It's about bringing a different perspective on farming in a changing time in Thurston County, and I think that's a good thing. So thank you for this opportunity to address that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Next on the list, we have Karen Mesmer. Would you come off mute, Karen, and provide your comment?
Hello, thank you, commissioners, for taking the time to hear my comments. My name is Karen Mesmer, and I live in Olympia. First, I want to thank you for your continuing commitment to public trails. You have a grant application on your agenda for development of a portion of the Gate Belmore Trail. As stated in the staff report, this implements your strategic plan initiatives, including improving community health and wellness and safety, and supporting well-maintained infrastructure for a thriving community. So thank you for doing that, and we look forward to that trail development. My second item is very related. It's about the health of our community, the wellness of our community, and our ability to access our Chehalis Western Trail. This is a really urgent concern. The trail is scheduled to be closed tomorrow for 2 months. I have had communications with the Public Works staff, and they have been helpful. I hope they have come to realize that the extreme approach of a complete trail closure for 2 entire months is unwarranted. This trail is a major arterial in our community. The closure is in the middle of prime cycling season for recreation, which is part of our health approach for the community. It would cut off any work commuters who rely on the trail. I know people who regularly cycle to Rainier for lunch. Those businesses in Rainier are going to see fewer customers. People come from outside our region to use the trail, and they spend money in our local communities. From what I've been told, this project has 2 parts. The Salmon Project on Spurgeon Creek, which is between 89th and 93rd, and another county-led project between 93rd and 103rd. The Salmon Project is important. It will bring improvements to the trail, and this is all good, but that project does not require complete closure of the trail. A very practical and easy detour is available on Latigo Road. It could be safely done. It should be supported with signs, and it needs to be made available so that trail is not completely closed. That's the key. The trail does not need to be closed. The second part of this project and the reason for the closure is actually the second part, which is between 93rd and 103rd. And from what I know, that project has not been started. So the trail does not need to be closed tomorrow. It could be left open with this detour that goes around. The county project in that segment of 93rd to 103rd should be delayed, if at all possible, until after prime cycling weather. The closure should be absolutely limited to the minimum time necessary. And since it's not started yet, there should be a press release immediately announcing that the trail is indeed still open and that a short detour is being supported. There needs to be good information provided weekly with updates. There needs to be much, much better signage for users. The media needs to be informed. But honestly, this detour does not need to happen. I mean, this closure does not need to happen at all at this moment. And honestly, for people who are using the trail, this is very extreme and very difficult to swallow. To think that the trail would be closed for 2 months, even if there's not an active project happening, means, honestly, it feels disrespectful. I use that trail 3 or 4 times a week. People park at Fir Tree and go south, and this is where they would be stopped, is at Fir Tree. So please ask your public works staff to change the project timing and provide a detour and stop this closure that they've planned. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, next on the list, we have Matthew Herrera. Matthew, if you unmute and provide comment.
Timing up here, Amy, just so I can track it, because that was...
We missed that one a little bit, but we got back on track a little.
It helps me if you use that.
Matthew Herrera. I don't see Matthew on the screen. Looks like Matthew dropped off. Headed on to Richard Mankenmeyer. Mr. Mankenmeyer, would you like to provide comment? Come off mute. Mr. Mankenmeyer? Is my mic working?
Seems like it. Mr. Mankenmeyer, would you like to provide comment? I can't even see the screen. Oh, there he is. Okay.
All right, hearing none, we'll come back if you would like. We'll move on to Helen Wheatley. Do I see Helen? There we go. Helen, would you like to provide comment?
Yes, thank you very much. I was not planning to speak, but I did want to support the earlier comment about the importance of appointing Mercy to the Ag Advisory Committee position. And where I'm coming from is that urban agriculture is really important, and it's becoming increasingly important. I was just looking at some statistics a couple of days ago that said that the city of Olympia, where I'm from, has about an 18% poverty rate. And we all know that the cost of housing is going up. Anything that can be done to improve food security and nutrition is very important, and it will become increasingly important. So besides the usual things of wanting to support urban agriculture because it's good for building community, it's a good use of open space, it's also really important to acknowledge how necessary it is for people who have trouble accessing nutritional food and learning about nutritional food. The USDA recognizes this, the National Resource Conservation Districts recognize this. It's becoming an increasingly important initiative in national agriculture. I believe that the Secretary of Agriculture just came out with a statement on the importance of urban agriculture. So it's a very important direction to move. There's a lot of opportunity to pursue it in Thurston County, and I really think that would be a very useful addition to the Ag Advisory Committee. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Wheatley. Is there anyone else on the Zoom that would like to provide comment? I see, looks like Richard Binkemeyer is trying to reconnect to audio. Anyone else on the Zoom to provide comment? All right. Is there anyone that's called in? Do we have a call-in line?
We don't do call-in now. Board's open. Okay.
All right.
Last call for Mr. Binkemeyer. We'll move on. Okay. Item 2 is the county manager's update, and
no county manager's update at this time. We'll let that county manager do that when he returns.
Sounds good. Then let's go straight to item 3, which is our consent agenda. There are items A through D. Any request to pull an item from this agenda from the board?
No, sir.
No, Commissioner Mejia?
No, sir.
Okay, then is there a motion regarding the consent agenda?
Yes, I would move to approve consent agendas A through D.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Minzer,
Aye. Motion carries. Items 3A through 3D are approved. Item 4A is a public health and social services item, specifically DSHS agreement regarding specialized recreation program, and we have Margaret Bagley, recreation supervisor. I see her on the Zoom. Margaret,
good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Pardon my daughter. Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm Margaret Bagley with Thurston County Public Health and Social Services, and I oversee the Specialized Recreation Program. It is a unique recreation program designed for adults with developmental disabilities in our community. Roughly 200 clients participate in any given program throughout the year, and half of those clients receive funding from the state called Respite. This contract with DSHS provides for reimbursement and the opportunity for family members to receive respite while their loved ones participate in our community activities. So while we are on pause right now because of COVID, we are hoping to gear up to enable more activities to get clients back out in the community while also providing that very highly desired respite for family members. And so if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time.
Commissioner Mejia, any questions from Margaret?
No, sir.
Commissioner Edwards?
No, sir.
Okay, me neither. Is there a motion?
Yes, I would move to approve Washington State Department of Social and Health Services Agreement number 2163-20522 for short-term intermittent respite care for the term of July 1st, 2021 to September 30th, 2023. and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to execute the contract and any amendments that do not exceed the agreement amount or duration by 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer,
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item 5A is a public works item. Thank you, Margaret.
Thank you.
Project prospectus and local agency agreement for CP 61320. Bill Richardson's listed here for Public Works, Associate Civil Engineer. Bill, take it away.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm actually Brian Meyer. I'm filling in for Bill today. I'm a civil engineer with Public Works. Public Works has recently been awarded $1,819,803 in federal funding from 2 federal transportation sources for the design and construction of Little Rock Road and the 113th Avenue Bridge and Intersection Improvement Project. This project is funded with a $57,343 grant from the Highway Infrastructure Program and a $1,762,460 grant from the Surface Transportation Block Grant. The project will improve both mobility and safety at the intersection of Little Rock Road and 113th Avenue by improving the configuration of the intersection and replacing the bridge at Bloom's Ditch. This section of Little Rock Road has a posted speed of 50 miles per hour and has a traffic volume of more than 7,000 vehicles per day. The project improvements will include the addition of a left turn lane on Little Rock Road turning onto 113th, as well as intersection sight distance improvements, signing, and some additional street lighting. The proposed roadway will have 2 12-foot through lanes and a 6-foot shoulder in both directions. The proposed bridge will have a 50-foot clear span, which will allow some stream habitat improvements in this section of the stream. Washington State Department of Transportation authorizes the use of awarded funding in phases, typically design, right-of-way, and construction, and each phase requires execution of agreements and supplements. The first phase for design will authorize the obligation of $57,343 in the Highway Infrastructure Program funds. Subsequent supplements will be needed to obligate funding for future phases of this project. Public Works is requesting the Board of County Commissioners to authorize the Director of Public Works to sign the project prospectus and local agency agreement with the Washington State Department of Transportation and subsequent amendments and supplements. Thank you for your time. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Questions on this project?
No, but I think we've discussed this in prior meetings.
Commissioner Mejia?
No questions.
Okay, is there a motion?
I would move to approve the project prospectus and local agency agreement with the Washington State Department of Transportation for the Little Rock Road and 113th Avenue Southwest Bridge and intersection improvements, project number 61320, and authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the documents and any subsequent amendments and supplements to obligate federal funding.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Mentzer,
Aye. Motion carries. That's 5A. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
5B, a Public Works item, resolution for a grant for Gate Belmore Trail Development. We have Ed Marston, our Parks and Maintenance Operation Manager. Ed, why don't you lay this item out for us?
Good afternoon, Board of County Commissioners. Ed Marston, Thurston County Parks Maintenance and Operations Manager. In 1996, Thurston County Public Works purchased a 14-mile Gate Belmore Railroad line from BNSF Railroad to create a non-motorized recreational trail in southwest Thurston County. After purchasing the alignment, Public Works removed the railroad infrastructure. However, the entire alignment remains closed to the public until an interim trail can be developed. Public Works is requesting permission to apply for $600,000 to supplement existing funding to develop an approximately 2.14 mile section of the Gate Belmore Trail. This project will establish the trail's first segment for public use from 88th Avenue Southwest to 66th Avenue Southwest near Kennydale Park. The grant is from the Land and Water Conservation Fund, a federal program, and administered through the Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office. The RCO requires this resolution of all applicants. The grant would be used to supplement Parks impact fee funds to be allocated in the 2022-2023 budget for Parks projects. This project is in the 2020 Thurston County Parks Open Space and Trails Plan, the 2021 through 2026 Capital Improvement Plan, and Transportation Improvement Program, and is alignment with the county's Strategic Plan Initiative 2 to improve community health, wellness, and safety, Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community, and Initiative 9 to support environmental health and climate stabilization. Thurston County Parks is asking to move to approve the resolution to apply for a grant for $600,000 to develop a portion of the Gate Belmore Trail from 88th Avenue Southwest to 66th Avenue Southwest from the Land and Water Conservation Fund, administered through the Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office. Happy to answer any questions that commissioners may have.
Commissioner Mejia, anything for Ed?
No questions, no.
Commissioner Edwards.
I don't have a question about this particular issue. We've been working on this and discussing it for quite some time now. I do have a question for Ed, but it is not related to this. It's related to comments made earlier in public testimony, and I would just like to ask him something in a few minutes when we conclude this portion of the meeting. Might you be able to stay around, sir, for a few minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sounds good.
No other questions.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yes, I would move to approve the resolution to apply for a grant for $600,000 to develop a portion of the Gate Belmore Trail from 88th Avenue Southwest to 66th Avenue Southwest from the Land and Water Conservation Fund, administered through the Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office.
Is there a second?
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. Further discussion?
No, sir.
no.
Just to comment that I agree with one of the public commenters. This is really exciting, and hopefully we'll see success and development and access to the public for this trail segment. With that, we'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer.
Aye, motion carries. 5B. Okay, that's it for the business items. We go to item 6, where commissioners can report on any work sessions, assigned committee meetings, update on actions taken, upcoming issues, community events. And we'll start with Commissioner Mejia.
Sure. So last week I attended, on behalf of Intercity Transit, I went to the Patterson Street construction site where they walked us along and basically gave an update of where they were. And it was just nice to see a little bit more constructed and seeing kind of a vision of where it's headed. I also recorded a message in Spanish on voting tips for the auditor. I also did a sheriff ride along, and that was exciting. We had a code run, so I got to see some excitement on those. I'm told that doesn't happen very often. Then I had a Blake decision discussion with Representative Dolan and Representative Taylor. I was joined by both Ramiro and Robin on that. And I think it was very fruitful. I'm very excited. After the conversation, I had mentioned I had some concerns, but hearing from Representative Taylor, and she heard our concerns on the funding, and she said she would be in touch with us for sending her. I know Robin is getting some information that she requested for what we've done already and some data that we had been accumulating. So more to come on that. We had our SWAC meeting, and I was asked, about the two, and all the board voted unanimously for the 2 members. I attended the Puget Sound Partnership meeting, and there's nothing really important to report on that. For the consortium, we got the budget approved, and that's for Pack Mountain consortium meeting. We got the budget approved for this year. And other than that, I've just been meeting with constituents on an array of issues.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Edwards.
The only committee that had a concern maybe that needed to be addressed was Capcom lost their backup system over the last couple of weeks, just a short outage. And it's my understanding that they have met with the county manager and have come to a solution to that particular problem. So I just let my seatmates know that there was an issue over at Capcom. The other issue I might bring up is this issue over on Latigo. I'm curious if we could not maybe hear from our Parks Director if there's a possibility of a bypass detour or something, as mentioned by a speaker just a few minutes ago, if that's possible, because I believe there's a fish window that we're kind of locked in to get a bridge project done on the trail. And I hadn't heard from Public Works or from the Parks folks that there had been any talk of any kind of a detour. And I'm just wondering, is that a legitimate issue that I could ask Ed about?
Yeah, well, we had, it's a good time to say we didn't have our agenda setting this morning where we might have addressed that. That's been continued to Thursday from 11 to 1, so that's good for the public to know. And since we didn't have that, and we've got Ed here, why don't we, and we've got a little bit of extra time.
Okay.
Why don't you go ahead and address that? I think we have time to do that.
So I'm sorry to interrupt respectfully. I might suggest we also engage with our Public Works Director on this topic since we just received this public comment today. I think that would actually be helpful.
Yeah, I'm open to all of the above because we did, as the chair said, we did not get a chance to discuss this morning. So I'm just kind of asking this out of order to see if there isn't anything that we can look at that might help this situation. And I agree with you, the Public Works Director and maybe Ed. So is there?
Ed, understanding we're putting you on the spot and you may have some, you may need to confer with your team, but is there anything that you can tell us now or maybe suggest a path forward for this discussion?
Yeah, and unfortunately I was on vacation on Thursday and Friday, but I've been trying to keep myself up to speed and have had some conversations. And from our end, we are looking into potential options. I know that there was a pre-con meeting for the project that may have just got over. So we may have some more firmer dates as to when construction actually may start or not start. So from my perspective, I'd have to confer and find out what are our options to safely get people around this if we can at all.
Is there a possibility of taking this up Thursday at our agenda, our continued agenda setting?
Yes, we can add that to the list. I'd also relay that thank you, Ed, just received a note that Ramiro is aware of this and they have been exploring the options on what can be communicated and, just as Ed said, workarounds. So we'll bring that up as an update on Thursday.
Appreciate that. There were some, yeah, I was out at the tail end of last week as well, and I just saw the email train today, and there was emails and involved the county manager and the Public Works Director and citizens about what options we may have to explore. So let's plan to take this up as a board on Thursday.
Could I just add one thing? This is Teresa Parsons.
Go ahead.
I would recommend that all of the trail users that are interested in what the schedule is to check our website and sign up for Twitter feeds, because that is one way we are going to try to have the most current information out on the construction schedule and closures.
Good. Yeah, that's really good. I'll make sure I spread that out, information out as well through my page.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Teresa. Helpful. We'll take this up Thursday. Is that your report, Commissioner?
That's good enough for me.
Okay. Well, I attended a meeting last night and got a headline of the newspaper today for it, which was the board asked me to attend the Port Commission meeting regarding their plan to expand to 5 commissioners and to express this board's interest in working with them in some fashion to better educate the public as we go forward. And the Port Commission responded with a motion that was passed unanimously to have a meeting with us, if it can be scheduled in the next 2 weeks, between our full commission and the Port's full commission and the auditor, Mary Hall, because there are a lot of nuances regarding districts. So I know the staff are working on setting up that meeting, and hopefully that'll happen and we can hash out our concerns and support and all of that at that meeting. So look for that next week probably. The Capitol Lake Executive Work Group met for a presentation on the EIS. This board will get the same presentation, I believe, the first week of August, but as the county's representative on the Executive Work Group, I got a preview. Very interesting set of findings. I would say at a high level, the environmental differences were a little different than what I had anticipated, and the costs of the various configurations were quite a bit different than I had anticipated. So that kind of changes the whole calculus, because those are the two, for me, those are the two biggies, like what's gonna make for a healthier ecosystem, and what's it gonna cost, and how are we gonna pay for that. So, and those two were neither one was exactly what I expected. So that's something that this board can, will have a chance to ask questions about in August. I was invited to attend a forum put on by former Governor Gregoire. It's called Challenge Seattle. They are looking to put a coalition of jurisdictions together to try to lobby the legislature for release of some of the considerable amount of state ARPA money. We got a direct allocation, but the state has a pot of money sitting there that they would like to see deployed to jurisdictions for housing. So it was kind of a brainstorming session between county executives from Pierce, King, Snohomish, Whatcom, and Thurston, all the Puget Sound counties, Kitsap. And there's more to come on that. Attended 2 events for the senior center, the senior services for the South Sound. They opened the senior centers in both Olympia and Lacey. Got to attend a kind of a night before event, and then I went to in Olympia, and then the next morning I went to Lacey for the grand opening, and they had live music, and that was, the people, it was just packed, and it was very gratifying to see the seniors enjoying that facility. And then I guess finally, Innovative Justice met this morning. Exciting there was that our new Criminal Justice Regional Program Manager, Leah Landon, was present and introduced to the group, and I think that's a group that she will be heavily involved in, and so it was great to see her there, meeting everyone and getting going, and we had some good updates on we met the new program manager for the LEAD program, and we got a kind of a wrap on the pilot program for restorative justice that's been run through the Dispute Resolution Center. They had success in that program and are looking for ways to expand its reach, because it was basically a 6-month pilot, and that's about it for me.
Commissioner, seeking clarification on the Port's request for a meeting, is that to be held before July 23rd? Is that the request?
They would like it to be before July 26th.
Well, thank you.
They would like to vote, because they would need, if they're moving forward, their deadline for filing for the ballot measure, I believe, is August 3rd. Okay. So basically, next week is when that meeting, I mean, I guess it could happen the morning of the 26th as well, but that's the goal, is to have it before the 26th meeting of theirs at 5:30.
Great. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, next on our agenda is for the county manager. In this case, our Josh Cummings is acting as county manager. Did you want to go through our combined schedule?
Yes.
Okay, then you're up.
Great. All right. So we've got the board's combined schedule for the next 2 weeks. Directly following this meeting, we will have 2 public hearings. We'll have a public hearing to receive comment on the program year 2021 Department of Housing and Urban Development Annual Action Plan, as well as a public hearing to hear comment on traffic impact fees rate. And then following those two public hearings, we'll have the Board of Health meeting. Wednesday, July 14th, we'll have the lunch hour meeting with appointed directors from 12 to 1 p.m. with all the commissioners invited to attend. And then on Thursday, July 15th, as was mentioned, we'll have the agenda review that was scheduled for this morning previously and then shifted to Thursday at 11 from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then from 1 to 2:30 p.m., we have on the combined schedule is the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization Governing Board meeting. Friday, July 16th on the calendar, we have the South Thurston Economic Development Initiative, otherwise known as STEADY. And so that takes care of the rest of this week. And then moving on to the week of Monday, July 19th, scheduled from noon to 1 is the WASAC Virtual Assembly. And then on Tuesday, July 20th, we'll have the 9 a.m. agenda setting meeting, the 2 o'clock BoCC meeting, and then following the BoCC meeting, a public hearing on commercial property assessed clean energy and resilience, and a second public hearing on the compression brake restrictions. The Transportation Benefit District meeting has been canceled. Wednesday, July 21st at 9 a.m. from 9 to 2:30 p.m. it looks like. The Capital Improvement Plan annual update will be provided to the commissioners. 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. the Thurston County Chamber July Forum will be held. From 12 to 1 p.m. there was the BoCC elected officials meeting that is now canceled. 2:30 to 4 p.m. on Wednesday is the Transportation Improvement Program annual update. Then on Thursday, July 22nd is scheduled a 9 to 10 a.m. budget work session. A 9 to 10 a.m. budget work set is held. Sorry about that. It's double on the calendar. Apologize. Then 10 to 11:30 is the commissioner's check-in. And scheduled then from 3 to 6 p.m. is the Economic Development Council's annual event. It's their first inaugural Hootenanny Economic Courage Awards. So that should be fun for the EDC. And then on Friday, July 23rd, on your calendar is from 1 to 4:30, the BoCC office staff retreat. And that concludes the 2-week combined schedule. Any questions on any of those items?
No, sir.
Commissioner Mejia?
No, sir.
Just wanted to ask whether that capital improvement plan update was major or minor.
No comment.
Okay. All right. Anything else? The good of the order before we adjourn. All right. We are adjourned for 30 seconds. So we will convene for a public hearing just here in a moment on a different Zoom.